fuck, big stout dude. But like you said, every time I've seen him play, he's more of a poacher. He's running off shoulders. He's more chasing the ball rather. He should be using his, especially with how Dortmund play. I mean, he should be using his physicality. He's the one guy up top with two forwards adjacent.
Yeah.
Has to be a target man. Has to hold it up so that the forwards can run around it, which is, I guess, I'm assuming what we're trying to do with our wingers. We want a guy to hold it up so the other two can crash diagonally into the goal. Marshall is not the guy. Marshall's a shadow strike. Marshall's the guy to play behind that guy.
Yeah.
I think Marshall's like a false nine advanced 10 type player. He floats in that area.
I'd agree with that. He's like Griezmann was for France in the World Cup.
Exactly. Exact same type player.
Yeah.
They float around. They're good with space. They know where the ball's going to end up, and they're good at just holding space because he's not necessarily lazy. But if he's not in the play, he's not playing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
he is very in and out of games. Like it just depends on if he's getting touches.
Right.
I agree. I agree with you completely. I think that if Martial gets more time playing as that like holding striker, because he is pretty strong. Like I was kind of surprised at how well he was holding up some defenders. But there was one game where I was like, okay, it was a Bournemouth. Remember when he like kind of fell and he kind of like kicked the ball over to Rashford while he was on the ground and Rashford scored? So I can't remember who that was against, but that when I saw that I was like, okay, maybe Tony's trying to also change his game a little bit to where he can play as a kind of a holder as well. But on that play, I think Tony Marshall was trying to turn the defender and shoot, and he just happened to fall and he just kind of kicked Rashford. But everyone kept calling for Haaland win it before he went to Dortmund, and like.
We're a team whose average age is like 24. We don't need a 19-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
We need a striker.
I think that's another advantage for Haaland in the future, though, is that you already know he can make those runs in, and you know that he's going to be fast and physical. But it's whether or not Dortmund, the coach there, turns him in, can train him, help him turn into a holding striker as well. Because like he definitely has all the physical attributes to be a holding striker over Martial.
Yeah.
No question. So, but I would say as of right now, Martial is more of a holding striker than Haaland is. So if that's what United are trying to bring in, then you should just keep Igalo for the rest of Igalo's career, which is kind of weird to say because
Igalo's not the best we can do out of all the power strikers that are out there.
Completely agree, but if you're trying to keep developing Martial, you don't want to bring in someone who's going to be a number one, who's going to want to start all the time. Like you bring in Mandzukic, he's going to want to start every fucking game, and then he's what 29, 30, something like that. Pretty old now.
Older than that, I think.
Yeah,
he's
so
like 31, 32.
And Martial is still only 24, so Martial hasn't even hit his fucking peak of his career yet. So it's like, if you bring in a striker like that, do you risk putting Martial on the bench and then coming on, or like how would you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, are you seeing Martial developing into a holding striker?
I feel like
I'd like to.
I feel like right now that's what they're working on with him, because there's clear progression in that over last season. At the beginning of the season, he wasn't doing it at all, and then but when it came back to the second part of the season, and I think a major factor into that is Bruno, because him and Bruno were linking up a little bit before Rashford came back and the whole team came back basically.
But he was fucking excited to work with him.
Yeah,
you know, he hadn't had anybody behind him.
Yeah, that's true.
Years.
But
let's see what you got.
I think he's never going to be a full-on holding striker. Like he's never going to be. I think he's developing that part of his game so he can do that. But yeah, I agree with you that when it comes to the end of the game and you're trying to clear the ball and like get someone to hold it up, we definitely do need to get a more of a holding striker. I completely agree.
I mean, I mentioned Kane earlier, and he's been mentioned to come to Man U. I'd love it. I would think it's wonderful. I mean, in any other striker like him, though, not in particular Kane, but that style striker. There's somebody who's big, somebody who can climb to fight for a ball against Van Dijk.
Yeah, because Martial's not winning that.
No, and a lethal striker in the box. And like I said, if we're going to be crossing it, kind of need it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of redundant to sell away Lukaku when your intention is to cross the ball. That's what he does. He heads the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't fucking dribble it. He heads the ball. You cross it into Lukaku. Kane's the only one that comes to mind right now.
How old is Kane?
Kane's 26, 27.
Because I wonder how long he has on his contract, because for the past 2 years, people have been saying that. And then I think it was Roy Keane. I think it was after Spurs, like United played Spurs. Or I can't remember who they were playing, but Roy Keane was like, "Hey, United should just go out and buy Harry Kane." And everyone, including Gary Neville, were like kind of laughing at him. He's like, "What? I'm serious. What? He's the best striker in the league. And he's the perfect striker for United."
The man just doesn't see gray. It's black and white.
Yeah.
It's
Roy
just,
Keane is the GOAT, though, dude.
He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Absolute GOAT. I mean, I agree with him, though.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He's like, because he was like, United are the best team in England. Harry Kane's the best striker in England. He needs to be on United. Which, yeah. The way he said it and the way everyone was going on around him, it was pretty funny. But and then there was another guy, I can't remember who it was, but last week he was saying, yeah, United need to sign Harry Kane. So, and there was little bits and pieces of that dropped in the beginning of the summer, but I think that was just like trying to sell papers and using United's name. But yeah,
Play the Greenwood shit.
dude, that Greenwood shit. Phil Foden is a terrible fucking influence on him, in my opinion.
It was all Foden.
I mean, there was a video of the girl on the phone to someone, and it was Foden.
But you heard Greenwood in the background.
Yeah, you hear Greenwood in the background, like egging it on, but like, Foden has a child and a girlfriend.
Pussy. I'm not taking either one's side, but I mean,
no, yeah. I'm not taking their side. Like, they definitely fucked up, but Foden, like, just looking at Foden and like the way he kind of acts, you can kind of see he's kind of a fucking asshole. But when you look at Greenwood,
it's the haircut for me. It's like,
dude, it's that fucking bowl ass haircut. That's like,
well, Rice had it the year last year too. I mean, thank God he got rid of it. But Declan Rice had the same thing.
It's that fucking English.
Is that like
style?
A thing over there? Nice.
It's like that hairstyle with, like, you know, those like Guess shirts that are black with the white mini stripe going down. It's like that kind of shit. Like, it's just, But then the Mason Greenwood doing Whippets thing that came out right after.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, like, fuck off. And it was 2 years ago. Like,
yeah, I saw people saying that. Y'all really gonna bring this up? Right
yeah,
now?
like 2 years ago.
Come on, 2 weeks in a row, y'all like, this man like that.
Fuck off.
Let him
I completely understand, like, them fucking up with coronavirus and everything going on. Completely understand. They were on England duty, and they fucked up. They're also both teenagers, and they're gonna make stupid mistakes. Let's not forget, John Terry fucked his teammate's wife on international duty, and not a word was said.
Not a word.
So
it was John Terry.
Fuck off. He's also racially abused Anton Ferdinand, and Anton Ferdinand got axed by the English FA because it was John Terry who did it. It's like, fuck off.
I mean,
and then
I don't think it's right, but when you're the highest scoring defender in the league ever, you can just do what you want. No, I'm just fucking around.
Fuck off.
So where does Greenwood fit this year, dude? Is he going to be a sub or start out right, or do you think he's going to sub up top?
If United don't sign a right wing, he's starting on the right.
Undoubtedly,
no question.
No question.
I mean, you can't start anyone else.
I think would you prefer Sancho over Greenwood? With what we saw from Greenwood at the end of last year?
See, I would, just because I feel like you throwing Greenwood in that early already, like last season, like starting at Man United at 18.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a great fucking prospect, but if you compare him to Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney at 18 was on another fucking level.
How so? They're putting up identical numbers.
But if you, I think it was Euros 2004. Maybe it was 2004, and Rooney was playing with England.
Mm-hmm.
He was just fucking around, and he was like, "Oh, should I go score now?" Like, that's how fucking good he was. Like if Rooney at 18 wanted to, he'd be like, I can go score, which I think Mason Greenwood can. But I think the way that the league is now with all the players that are like getting, because defenders like Rooney at 18 against Van Dijk would fucking roast him.
Yeah.
Greenwood now at 18 against Van Dijk, I don't know if he would roast him. So I think back then
on both of their best days, you don't think Greenwood could roast Van Dijk?
On Van Dijk's best day versus Greenwood's best day?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Especially with how Van Dijk's been playing lately. What was it?
Yeah, but we're
most
talking
mistakes leading to goals in the past 2 years.
Yeah, but we're talking about Van Dijk on his game, 100%, no mistakes at all. I don't think Greenwood's beating him. I think Rooney runs rings around Van Dijk at 18, though.
Who was more technical at 18, Greenwood or Rooney?
Like passing wise, or
ball handling.
It's fucking hard to say, really. I think Greenwood is more skillful. Rooney was not skillful. Rooney was just fucking power. I'm gonna kick the ball, run past you, I'm gonna shoot, and it's going in. Where Greenwood like kind of fucks around with them and does a step over or two and then shoots early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his timing's off when he shoots. And
yeah, and me saying that about Greenwood compared to Rooney, like, it's almost a bullshit thing to say because they're two completely different players.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think with Greenwood and the way, because back then Rooney at 18, Rooney could have been doing fucking whippets in the bathroom at a nightclub and no one would have said anything. But now with the media and everything, obviously that you kind of have to protect Greenwood. So.
And not to play devil's advocate, Greenwood also needs to protect himself. It's the same thing that the whole class of '92 says is we didn't fuck around like everybody else. We kind of just went home and did our business.
Yeah.
So not to compare either of the two, but you want to be a pro baller at 18, you got to be a pro baller at 18.
I agree with you on that.
And then look, I'm all with go out and do you, but know that you're in a position where there's consequences.
You are in the public eye, and everyone, any move that you do, everyone is
itching for it.
Yeah,
they want it.
It was like I read something the other day, and it was when Pato first got to AC Milan, and it was Ronaldo and Ronaldinho in the dressing room, and then there was Kaká in the dressing room. And Ronaldo and Ronaldinho went up to Pato and was like, "Do you want to come with us?" And they showed all these playboys and all these naked girls, and then they were like, "Or do you want to go over there with Kaká and be in the church group?" And that's literally kind of what it is now for Greenwood, where you go with Rashford over to the church group or Martial over to the fuckboy group. Because Martial, when he first came to United, was fucking around with a lot of girls and getting in trouble, and that's how the girl he's with now. I think they're married now, but he knocked her up. And now they're married, so I guess it worked out for him in the end. Yeah. But yeah, so everyone's making that kind of joke now with Greenwood and the United dressing room. But
I think he's definitely gonna get a reunion from Ollie. I think Ollie's gonna set his ass straight.
Ollie's definitely gonna set his ass straight for the coronavirus thing. With the Whippets thing, that was 2 years ago. He was fucking 16, and he's probably just when you're fucking 16, until you're about 20, 23, I think just as a human being, you're an absolute dumbass.
Yeah.
So holding something against someone who's fucking 16, people can change. That happens.
It's for clicks. They're going to click on it because it's
that's the only reason what it's for.
It's ridiculous. But, like I said...
Again, Sancho or Greenwood. I think I would just go with Sancho because he's got way more first-team experience where Greenwood doesn't really. If it was between him and Greenwood.
Does Sancho bring the exact same business he's doing over at Dortmund to Man U when he walks into the squad? Because he'd walk into the squad, but does he? He plays a different system, different personnel. He walked into an established team.
Yeah. This is
a brand new. This is a building team.
Yeah.
Was pretty sure 4 starters weren't here in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that 18. He will produce when he first comes in because he is. What is he? Is he just 19 or is he just 20? I think he was a teenager last year. But I think now he's 20 now. Yeah, and him especially if he comes in with a price tag of 120 million, that there's going to be a fuck ton of pressure to come in and produce. If he comes in the first 3 games, he